have a series of presentations this evening that I think are important for our board and also our public to understand. First, we're going to hear from Fairmount Properties. Fairmount Properties is a group that is working on a property at the location of Rockside and Crossview Roads, and they will eventually be approaching the city of Seven Hills and then also subsequently the Parma City School District for what's considered a TIF, tax incremental financing. And I thought it was important that our public sees that this group is in existence. This is the project that we're working on. I'm going to introduce Eric Ludit, who can introduce his team as well. Mr. Ludit, enlighten us.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I am Eric Ludit from Fairmount Properties. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight to give you a brief introduction to our project that we're calling The Bluffs, which is located in Seven Hills off of Rockside Road. With me tonight is Bryce Hamill, who's our Director of Design and Architecture, and PJ Callum, who runs all of our financing for us. So let me give you I'll start by introducing who Fairmount Properties is. You may be familiar with us, you may not. If you're not, you've probably been to a project that we've developed somewhere close by. We have been in business for over 20 years now, and although we develop projects sort of all over the east of the United States, we've developed several projects here in Cleveland and around Northeast Ohio. Primarily, we build mixed-use projects. So we build projects with retail, with office built in, with a hotel, maybe some multifamily or townhouses or single-family homes, all attached. We try to build communities. And one of the communities that we've recently built, you may be familiar with, is Pinecrest. It is on the east side of Cleveland, located at Harvard and 271, opened about 15 months ago. Pinecrest is a little over 1 million square feet. It's got retail on the ground floor all the way through. Above that, we've got multifamily in one building. We've got a hotel, an AC Marriott hotel, the first one in the market, and then we've got 2 office buildings. This is a good representation of, on a very large scale, of what we do across northeast Ohio and sort of across the east coast of the U.S. A couple other projects, if you haven't been to Pinecrest, you maybe have been to Hudson, First and Main, which is in downtown Hudson. It's been around for about 15 years. One of our first projects we did. That also, a lot of retail. We built a library there. We built some residential. There's some office. And also we redeveloped downtown Kent, right near Kent State University. Same sort of thing, mixed use with retail on the ground floor. Mostly it's restaurants and like cookie shops and stuff for students who like to go to those places. There might be a bar. Some residential, some office. That was one of the very first sort of community projects. It's one of the projects that we did very early on that proved to us that sort of this model works, because we partnered with Kent State and we partnered with the county there. And this Kent State, since we built this project, and it's not the only reason, but their enrollment has grown every year. And they talk a big part of it is because the downtown now feels safe. And I can tell you this from personal experience, because my daughter starts at Miami University down in southern part of Ohio next week. And so, Oxford, yeah, exactly. And so we're taking it down there Tuesday, but when we were traveling around looking at different schools, some of them, when you get off of campus, you feel good about what's around, and some you feel a little bit maybe not so good. And so it's as much for the parents as it is the students, and so making a community that feels safe, where there's people around and there's security and there's, the sidewalks are lit, is important. And then another one we developed more recently was the Flats East Bank. Very large project, office building, hotel and retail there, and then apartments as well. So this is sort of what we've, over the last 20 years, kind of specialized in. And we're vertically integrated, so we have our own leasing team, we have our own design team with Bryce here. We put together our own financing. And one of the things we do on the leasing side is we focus a lot on local and regional tenants. At Pinecrest, if you go out there, you'll notice we have a lot of tenants that you won't find anywhere else in Northeast Ohio. REI is the first one, Shake Shack was the first one, Silver Spot Cinemas, and then some local ones like Scout and Molly's, Blackbird Fly. So a lot of unique tenants to the market, and we feel that creates a little bit better atmosphere, and it gives people a reason to come out and see something different. Also, a lot of our projects are heavy on entertainment and restaurants. And so out at Pinecrest, we've got several local restaurateurs. One, for instance, is Michael Schwartz, who does Three Palms and Flipside and some other restaurants. But we've done 5 restaurants with him now in our different projects. So he's a great local success story. So what are we doing at the Bluffs is at Rockside, sort of at Crossview, right as you get off of 480, just west of 77. This will be a mixed-use project, similar in style to Pinecrest and to Hudson and some of the other projects we've talked about. There'll be residential, there'll be retail, there'll be entertainment, there'll be office, and I will tell you in a minute how we lay all that out. And if you're familiar with it, this is an old quarry site. This site has been planned with different developments for, I don't know, going back 15 years or so, maybe even more. But it's sort of sat as it has been all that time. And so what are we going to do here? We want to create a community. We want to create a place that you feel proud to come to, and that you can come and if you want to live there, we've got all kinds of different options, from multifamily above retail to townhouses to single-family residential. There's going to be at least 100,000 square feet of office. There's going to be restaurants, entertainment, some shopping, all in a setting that is convenient and comfortable to walk around in. There's nothing else like this on Rockside Road. And my wife works right on Rockside Road on Oak Tree. And she's bummed every time she has to get in her car in January or February to go get lunch. I'm trying to convince her business to move to this office, and then she won't have to do that anymore. She can right down the elevator. We broke it up into zones. Zone 1, this is sort of looking the north to the left and south to the right. Zone 1 is along Rockside Road. That is our predominantly commercial zone. That will be the most dense. That is where we will locate office, the retail and entertainment, and the multifamily above the retail. The rest of the zones right now are planned for lower density residential, and it goes like more dense into maybe townhouses and the attached townhouses, and then as we get further south, bleeds into single-family residential. The one with the hiker in it is there because about 15 acres of this 52 acres is wetlands, and it'll remain wetlands. We're not allowed to take a tree out of there. We're not allowed to fill in any of the creeks or ponds, so that will become parkland. The intent is to put some walking trails and through that so that it can be used as a park. Where are we right now? So we have executed a memorandum of understanding with the City of Seven Hills. We are working on a development agreement with them right now and hope to have it completed by the end of September. Once we get that complete, we can finalize our financing package, both public and private financing, and then we move to leasing and getting the thing drawn and ultimately getting a shovel in the ground. One of the things we do is we do a lot of events at all of our properties. If you've been to Kent and you've been there on Harry Potter weekend, it's crazy. This was 2 weekends ago at Pinecrest. We set a Guinness Book of World Record for most dogs in a single photo. There's 370 something, 380 dogs in that photo. We do yoga on the green. We do movies there. There's another doggy photo. So, and concerts and stuff. So that's that's on a smaller scale. This is obviously a much bigger project than we can fit into the ground on Rockside. So I open it for questions from the board if you've got some.
Let me preface questions, but the purpose of his presentation again is because at some point we'll approach you with some type of proposal about a TIF, and TIFs are relatively controversial at times. Our challenge as a school district is to sort of thread that needle of not being an impediment to what could be a very exciting development for the area, and maximizing, the revenue to the school district as well. And so we work with David Seed, who is an attorney who specializes in this, in TIFs. David has done Nucleus downtown. He has done probably half of Fairmount's projects as well. He works for a law firm that we actually use for negotiations as well. So we are represented by experts here, but our mindset again is to thread that needle between not being an impediment but also maximizing our bottom line as well. So with that said, any questions from the board?
We absolutely appreciate this. It's nice to kind of hear from you before you're going to come ask for a deal. It was nice to kind of have this preemptive conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
And we have done those in the past.
Oh yeah. It's just nice not to meet them the first time at the table where they're asking for something like that, so we can kind of.
Actually, on that subject, I want to give credit to Council President Biassiata in Seven Hills, because he has really done this the right way. He engaged us very early in this process. There have been projects where the city and the developer come together and essentially have this deal and present it at really the 11th hour. And then the schools are kind of like, whoa. And it's kind of, hey, if you don't okay this now, it's not going forward, and you're the bad guy. And also Fairmount Properties, I give them credit for wanting to do it the right way too. But Tony has really been above board and really methodical in introducing this to us as well.